What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Niners News here on 49ers Hive. My name is Zach Hernandez. As always, I'm joined by my friend Matt Llewellyn. Matt, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Zach. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. Guys, today we are going to talk about Jimmy Garoppolo and what type of year we envision him having in 2020. Matt, why don't you go ahead and start us off?
I need Jimmy to get a better deep ball. Let's just start with that. His deep ball is garbage. Especially when you're looking outside of the hashes. He just does not throw 9 routes to outside receivers. It's just not something that he feels comfortable doing. The few times that we've seen him throw even just wheel routes or even, wide receivers that'll come across the entire formation and then sprint upfield, he underthrows those routes really badly. And then in the Super Bowl, even between the 20s, he severely overthrew that ball. I believe it was to Emmanuel Sanders in the end zone. That is just trying to block that out of my mind, but we're going to get there. I don't know that he's going to be able to improve that much at this stage. The one area where I would like to see a big leap from Jimmy is the turnover worthy throws. And I think that's going to come this year because of a little extra experience. You hear people always say, hey, year 2, year 3, the game kind of slowed down for me. Well, now we're talking Jimmy G, where he's going to be essentially year 3 as far as playing goes. So those instances should kind of slow down for him, where he doesn't see, the weak side linebacker, where he doesn't see the safety creeping into the zone, and he tries to force something in there because he loves his arm maybe a little more than he should. If he can kind of come down on those things, I believe in most other areas, he was an elite quarterback. So the one area where people criticize is, man, he makes we talk about it all the time. There's that one Jimmy G throw. You're like, oh, that's the throw. Let's hope he's done. And it's inevitable. Every week he has that one throw where you're just like, I don't know. And, you wait for something bad to happen and it can go either way. But what you want to see out of him is better decision making. He's already proven that he's a good leader as far as his example that he sets. Now we need to see him be a leader in like, hey, let's take care of the ball. Let's have a firm grasp on this offense. And Kyle's offense is very complicated. So this is going to be the year. This is going to be the make or break year for Jimmy Garoppolo. And if he can kind of, tune up some of those things that he's been loose on before, I think that he can be, a top 10 quarterback in the league. I think he has it in him. We need to see it, though, and we need to see it soon.
Yeah, the first you started off with his deep ball. He definitely needs to improve on that deep ball if possible. Some quarterbacks just don't have it. They don't have that accuracy. They don't have that strong of an arm. I would love to see him develop that because they now have a nice arsenal of wide receivers that they could get that ball down the field to. Brandon Ayuk specifically. I mean, he's been great with, deep passes, yards after the catch. If they just get him that ball, even 20, 30 yards down the field and let him do some damage, I think this 49ers offense takes a whole nother step into the right direction. Where I want to see him progress, and I think he will progress on, is his decision-making. And you touched on a little bit there, his interception-worthy throws. I think that those will get better because you've seen players talk about it in year 2, year 3, the game really slows down and it kind of, you process it at your own rate rather than the game coming to you. And you're kind of sitting there with your eyes wide open, deer in the headlights, like, oh my God. So I think that we will see this from Jimmy Garoppolo this year. Like you said, it's not technically his second year in the NFL, but it's his second full season as a starter. So it's like there's context there. It's not as black and white as, well, how many years has he actually been in? He was sitting out under Tom. He got injured. There's a lot of things there. This is his actual full second year. And what I'm going to ask you, Matt, I think is really interesting. I've seen people bring up the comparison between Matt Ryan's first year in Kyle Shanahan's offense and Jimmy Garoppolo's first year in Kyle Shanahan's offense. We all know Matt Ryan went on to win MVP in the second year. I'm just going to list off the stats side by side. So Matt Ryan, 614 attempts, 69% completion rate, 7.5 yards per attempt, 4,500 yards, 21 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. Now, Jimmy Garoppolo, lower attempts, 456, but 66.9 completion rate, 8.3 yards per attempt, 21 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. Are we going to see an MVP-like year out of Jimmy Garoppolo this season in his second year?
It's possible. And mainly it's going to be, again, that cutting down on the turnover worthy throws. It's one of those things where if you think about it like this, say you're trying to learn the piano, right? And the first thing that you're doing when learning the piano is, okay, this key makes this note and it's right here. This key makes this note and it's right here. And until you get those reps, you're always thinking about, man, I need to hit this note here at this time. You hit this note here at this time. After a while, that starts slowing down. You don't think about what key plays what note. You just know that it's there and your muscle memory is there and you've kind of got a feel for it at that point. And I think that's going to be really important in Jimmy Garoppolo's development. It's one thing to be on a team and maybe getting some practice team reps and scout team reps. I mean, looking at Tom Brady, that's great. I can watch Tom Brady film all day. That doesn't mean I'm going to be able to play quarterback like Tom Brady or diagnose a defense like Tom Brady. Until you go out there and do it, you don't know what you're capable of. So if he's going to take the step, it's going to be this season. And I do think that there is a potential for him to have a spectacular season and get the 49ers back to the Super Bowl.
Wow. Okay. I like it. I think that he will have a great year, a better year than last year, obviously. But I just think that, I mean, MVP, like, there's so many great, talented players right now.
It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, it's very tough.
I didn't want to go so far as to say that he's going to have the MVP season. I think he's having a great season. I think it's going to be better than it was last year. But MVP, man, that's really hard when you got somebody like Patrick Mahomes out there, when you got somebody like Lamar Jackson, who's not the best thrower of the football, but man, he's really dynamic in all facets of the game. To say that he could be an MVP, that might be a stretch.
Yeah, I totally agree. And not only that, but how run heavy this offense is. It's almost like they run to throw rather than, they're passing to set up their running game. That's not really how they work their offense. So I don't think that he's even going to get any MVP votes, to be honest with you. But I do think that he's going to take a step up from last year. And I think that, the interception worthy throws is really, really important. I think he's going to have a better year than last year. But like you said, there's just so many talented players, and specifically even at his position, to where he's going to be even getting MVP votes. I don't even think he's the most talented player on the 49ers, not even the top 3, to be honest with you. Right. Now, when you're going to be ranking quarterbacks next year, where do you put him?
In the NFL?
Yeah, starting quarterbacks.
Based off of what he did last year, probably somewhere between 10 and 20.
Okay.
I think that he's in that middle third.
I agree.
Obviously, he's good enough to get you to the Super Bowl. They got there. Is he enough to elevate your teammates to win? Last year, I don't think that he was. What you want to see out of him this year is that step to say, hey, look, I'm the man now, and I'm going to lead this team, and I'm going to be the one that's going to carry you guys instead of you guys carrying me. And I think that's an important development, because if he doesn't make that development, his cap number makes it so that they can get out from under him real quick, and there might be another starting quarterback for the 49ers in 2021 if he doesn't take that leap forward.
Right. That's a huge point, because there's so much riding on this year for him, for his career. That's why I personally think that he does take the step. I think he understands what is riding on this, and I think we've heard from all of the coaching staff how committed he is, how much he trains, how much he puts into the game. So
yeah, he's competitive. He's a competitive SOB.
Yeah, so that's what you want out of your quarterback. My question for you touched on it there, even in your last answer. The team was kind of carrying him, masking his deficiencies, his weaknesses. Now, we all know great quarterbacks elevate the play of those around him. Will we be able to see that from Jimmy this year?
I think we'll see it more than we did last year. He did have some games where he made some outstanding throws, and he was able to kind of get us there. I think we'll see it more, but I do think that it's going to be a work in progress. And the one thing you want to see is progression. And if you can see him improve upon what he had, even if it's not an MVP year, you just want to see that it's better than it was. And to me, the biggest thing is those turnover worthy throws. I mean, he had so many of them that if you can cut down on those just by default, it's going to be so much better for the team, without having to go cover your eyes every time he throws the football. So
yeah, and also
I think he'll be better, but the turnover worthy throws is where it's going to be at.
And also, drafting a wide receiver in the first round, they're doing all they can to make him better, to help him out. I mean, last year, how many of his interceptions were due to tipped balls, were due to receivers bobbling it and dropping it? Like a good amount of those interceptions could have been reduced. I want to say at least 5 if the wide receivers just held onto the ball.
Yeah, to be fair, to combat that, I will say that there were other throws that the defenders dropped that could have been interceptions.
That's a good point. That's a good point as well.
See those cleaned up.
Yeah.
He had some where you're just like, oh man, he is so lucky right now. So it's the easy thing is to say, oh, the Pittsburgh game, wow, they had 5 turnovers because XYZ. Dante Pettis tipped the ball and Matt Breida, juggled the ball into the opponent's hands. But at the same time, there's plenty of throws that Jimmy makes on his own that you're just like, whoa, that's bad. And he gets lucky sometimes. And what we want to do is cut down on the percentage of those throws that he's trying to force in there. It's easier to make a quarterback kind of rein it in a little bit from being a gunslinger than it is from getting a timid quarterback to kind of open it up. And so you want your quarterback to be a little bit more on the aggressive side, but you also have to take into account, hey, you can't always be forcing it into that area. Right. We have to take care of the football.
Right. And, when you said that, the first thing that came to my mind was that Monday night game against Seattle, that drive in overtime. He threw one, I think, to Bobby Wagner, and he literally right in his hands and dropped it. And then the next play, almost intercepted. He really needs to learn how to, like I said in the beginning of this, let the game come to him, process it, let it slow down, and not force things. We've seen him trust his arm a little too much, and I think a good quarterback knows what he can do, but also more importantly, what he can't do. And we can't keep seeing him try to force things that he knows he can't do, just try and take that big risk. So that's what I think. Obviously, we both think he improves upon his last year. Let us know what you guys think below in the comments. That's going to do it for us today, guys. Thanks for watching another episode of Niners News on 49ers Hive. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. Our handles are below on the screen. And like I said, comment below whatever you guys think. Do you think Jimmy gets worse? Do you think he improves? Do you think there's any chance that he has an MVP-like year? Will he get any MVP votes? Comment below. Make sure you check it out. And also subscribe, turn on notifications. You don't want to miss any sort of content from 49ers Hive. We have a lot coming at you Monday through Friday, so you do not want to miss it. And also, we have our giveaway.
Don't forget, go 49ers giveaway jersey for 250 subscribers on YouTube. We're almost there. And don't forget to go to www.49ershive.com. We have our Come At Me Bro t-shirt, and JS74 is the code word to get 15% off. So until next time, we'll see you. Go Niners.